What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 2, season 5 of the Monday Night Wars. I am Chad Talks, and joining me as always is Jmack Gaming.
Welcome, everybody, to No Way Out 2003. And on the other side of the broadcast, WCW presents Super Brawl. We got two massive shows for you because they both lead up into something big. No Way Out, of course, is the lead up, the little appetizer to WrestleMania, and Super Brawl is going to lead into the first ever pay-per-view based around the Cruiserweight Classic. Is that what it's going to be called, Chad? The Cruiserweight Classic pay-per-view?
Yep, it will be. Yep, it'll be good. It'll be the Cruiserweight Classic.
Call it the Classic. Well, WCW presents the Classic.
I mean, that's not a bad idea either. It's either Cruiserweight Classic or the Classic. I've been batting around either one.
Yeah. We got two.
Classic sounds like it's like the Masters, which is like why I kind of like it.
Yeah.
And like the Cruiserweight Classic winner should get a jacket, kind of like the you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Do I know a golf
Would that be
trivia
sick?
question?
A gold like a gold jacket should be what the Cruiserweight
Ooh.
Classic guy gets from now on.
I mean, what are they going to get winning it if they win anyway?
They were gonna get a big trophy and then probably a title program down the line. I mean,
yeah, fuck
whatever.
the title program and trophy. Give them just a jacket.
Yeah, I think give him the gold jacket is kind of sick, to be honest.
All right, let's we'll worry about that in the second half of this episode. But first, we got to get through No Way Out 2003. We got some massive matches ahead of us, headlined by the number one contender match for the World Heavyweight Championship. It is set to be held inside 10 feet of steel chains. It's the Elimination Chamber match. The winner will go on to fight Randy Orton at WrestleMania. We'll get into that match and the others when we get into the show. Chad, what is your prediction for this show? I mean, are we expecting big things? Are we expecting bad things? Are we expecting a big surprise? What are you looking forward to in No Way Out here at the Salt Palace here in Salt Lake City, Utah?
I'll tell you what, I'm looking very much forward to seeing which individual is going to face Randy Orton at WrestleMania. That's what I'm looking forward to most.
I get that. Me too, Chad. A couple matches.
But I also want to see someone bleed and see their bones get pounded into dust inside the chamber.
All right. Okay, you want blood, Chad. You want
Give me blood and give me guts.
Isn't that AEW's thing, Chad?
It is.
I'm trying to get this.
Tonight it's your thing.
All right, let's get into the show, Chad. Here in Salt Lake City, Utah. No pre-show tonight. Fuck the pre-show. I forgot to put one in here. I was so excited just to get this show rolling. We're here, No Way Out, live in front of 15,000 people here at the Salt Palace, like I said, in Salt Lake City. These are your 6 men in the chamber, Chad. These 6 men. Alex Wright. Do you want me? I mean, we'll go down how they got qualified and all that when we get to the match itself, but it's headlined Alex Wright, Triple H, Brock Lesnar is back, Scott Studd, Kurt Angle, Bryan Danielson. One of these men will win the chamber and headline, but we'll get a world title shot against Randy Orton at WrestleMania. Chad, early prediction: who wins it?
Well, I gotta tell you, I think, being here live and in person here, I came in expecting it to be a guy, like an Alex Wright, like a Brock Lesnar. But I gotta tell you something, I'm seeing a lot more people holding up signs that say, I'm a stud muffin. Dude. And I think Scott Studd's developing a little fan base here.
Scott Studd is a fan favorite. He made it into this match, upsetting Psychosis and PJ Black to qualify for the Elimination Chamber tonight, and he's on a roll. If there's anyone who has more momentum, it's Scott Studd, and he's in the chamber itself. It's anyone's game, right? It's anyone's match when it comes to the evil structure that is the Elimination Chamber. We'll get into that later tonight. That is our main event. But we start off. I forgot to take a fucking picture of the card again because I am a goofball. But Mick Foley and Eric Bischoff, Chad, they run into each other backstage. The draft is coming up, and there's a little tension in the air. You know, the rosters are going to get shaken up. Mick Foley will be taking SmackDown guys. Bischoff will be taking Raw guys. These guys have their favorite. I mean, these guys have their favorites. Will they be able to keep them? I mean, we'll find out. But the draft, the first week, the night after WrestleMania, it's coming up, Chad. It's going to be a special episode of this series where we'll deep dive into the WWE draft. But we start off our opening match, Chad. Did I not? Oh, man, I am unprepared. Where's the recap picture? We start off, Chad. It's our opening match. It's Edge and Christian taking on MLG, which is Maple Leaf Grappling, Chris Jericho, and Teddy Hart, Chad. Edge and Christian, they defended their belts last week once again against Apollo Dantes and Shocker, the tag team champions of the the Mexican company of CMLL. They've defended against anyone. So they decided, hey, let's look let's look within, Chad. They promoted within, and they challenged Chris Jericho and Teddy Hart, which again pissed off Dylan Martin and Gabriel Burton. Martin and Burton, leading up to this, they felt slighted once again, that they were once again looked over by their friends Edge and Christian, especially if we roll back to the Royal Rumble where Dylan Martin and Gabriel Burton eliminated, right? They eliminated Edge and Christian, the tag team champions, from the Rumble. Why would they not be the number one contenders? They eliminated Edge and Christian. They felt slighted by that. Edge, Dylan Martin and Gabriel Burton a couple weeks ago on Monday Night Raw, they went up to Edge. They talked to him, trying to figure out what's going on. And Edge says, guys, it's cool. Look, it's cool, but you want me to be honest with you guys? You guys just aren't ready. And Gabriel Burton was not happy with what he heard from his friend. Dylan Martin was apprehensive about it, but Gabriel Burton stormed out of the room after he heard that from Edge. On the go home, Chad, Gabriel Burton challenged Edge after that match, after what happened the week prior. He challenged him to a one-on-one singles match. That main event at Raw, Edge just got the job done, beating Gabriel Burton, and they stare down right there after the match. But Gabriel Burton, after the match, falls back in line and understands his role. But tonight, he is not here, Chad. As he's not here, as we see Jericho, Teddy Hart, and Dylan Martin all come down to the ring together because Edge and Christian are coming down. Where is Gabriel Martin? Here comes the champs. Edge and Christian, the Save's Chad's favorite tag team of all time, apparently, in this save.
The most I don't know how you argue it. The most successful tag team in pro wrestling in this save.
Yeah. This match might be between Edge and Christian and Jericho and Teddy, but it's not been about Chris Jericho and Teddy Hart. It has been about Dylan Martin and Gabriel Burton, Chad. We get that match right here. I forgot to ask you because I am in shambles right now because I didn't put a recap thing in. But Edge and Christian.
I would have picked Edge and Christian.
Yeah. Edge and Christian pins Teddy Hart with a leaping DDT. Edge and Christian make this defense number 4 of your WWE Tag Team Championships. Christian, 94. Edge, 98. Jericho, 97. Teddy Hart, an 80, Chad. An 80. An 80, Chad.
Absolutely huge. A 99 match to open the show is always good.
Always good. After the match, though, Chad.
I'm Chad.
Edge and Christian, they celebrate with Jericho, Teddy, and Dylan Martin, but Edge and Christian, they're wondering not only where Gabriel Burton is, but they wonder where Dylan Martin lies in his head, because his best friend, the guy he came up with, the guy he's been teaming with for a year and a half now, he's nowhere to be seen. He's not out here celebrating another win from the United Empire, and they really wonder where Dylan Martin, where his true feelings lie. We move on. Our next match, Chad, is a match that you probably didn't see coming. It's the women's champion Lita taking on Toshi Uematsu for the WWE Women's Championship. And now you're probably wondering, what the hell? What is this about, Chad? We'll go back a couple weeks. The cat. I know Kaiba's in my room right now, so I thought he was scratching at my door. A couple weeks ago, right? 4 weeks ago, we saw Chigusa Nagayo win the WWE inaugural Women's Royal Rumble match, booking her a match at WrestleMania to fight for that women's championship, an honor that only one woman has ever held in this safe. You know, we've seen the group of Toshi Uematsu and Nagayo and Satomura over the last maybe 6-7 months, 8 months, maybe going back to SummerSlam. They've been a reckoning in the women's division. But Toshi a couple weeks ago, Jan, went to her own hands. Went behind the Queen's back. What is going on? I thought I heard something on my door. Sorry. She went into her own hands, going behind the back of the Queen's back, and she asked Mick Foley. Oh, that is the cat on my door. 1 second, Chad. Continue talking, Chad. Continue.
Yeah. Okay, so, I mean, Abba's our roommate's cat, for those of you who don't know. And then we have another cat named Tilly. And they're both super cute. Oh, boy, do they get into some hijinks.
She goes behind the Queen's back, and she goes to Mick Foley. And look, she convinces GM Foley to give her a title shot against Lita. And once Nagayo finds out, she is livid because she doesn't want to fight her friend, her sister, at WrestleMania. And Uematsu's trying to talk to her, trying to convince her, like, look, friend versus friend. It's going to be more if we go one-on-one at WrestleMania than some random bimbo Lita. Like, it's going to be the greatest women's match of all time, and Nagayo wants none of it. Tonight we get Lita and Uematsu. Chad, who do you got?
Lita.
Well, Chad, Toshi Uematsu.
Oh, wow.
Defeats Lita here in 1443 with a dragon suplex, and Uematsu wins the women's championship. And we see Nagayo disgusted about what happens and just walks away as Uematsu celebrates in the ring. Wow.
Crazy.
What
Absolutely insane.
So now that's...
Oh, yeah. Good for Toshi Uematsu.
As of right now, friend versus friend, sister versus sister, a rivalry reignited. It's Uematsu and Nagayo at WrestleMania for the Women's Championship.
Get fucked, Lita.
Get fucked, Chad. Speaking of getting fucked, Ric Flair. The Royal Rumble winner, Chad. A match that no one saw come, a result that no one saw coming. Ric Flair.
Oh, yeah, they're still talking about it.
Outlasting 29 other men as a 53-year-old man on his last dance, winning the Royal Rumble, and will now headline WrestleMania as the greatest of all time, at the granddaddy of them all. John Cena, his partner for the last 3 to 4 months, the yin and yang, the prodigy, and the present and the past, right? They've been having... They, in the Royal Rumble, got into it with Jeff Jarrett and Chris Daniels, Chad. They didn't like each other. Jeff Jarrett, the last couple of weeks, brought up to Eric Bischoff that Ric Flair was still holding the United States Championship and has not defended the belt in the last 30 days. A rule: if you break, you must vacate the championship at that moment. Eric Bischoff, realizing that, makes a match. It's Chris Daniels, Ric Flair for the United States Championship in a headlining main event of a SmackDown. In that match, we saw Jeff Jarrett distract Ric Flair, the dirtiest player in the game, getting distracted by a dirty player, allowing Chris Daniels to roll up, use the tights, and win the U.S. Championship off of Ric Flair. And tonight, Chet, Ric Flair and John Cena get their comeuppance. It's a tag team match. It's Cena and Flair against Jeff Jarrett and Chris Daniels, the Double J Records. Chad, who do you got?
Oh, I mean, listen, you have to go with Ric Flair and John Cena.
Why? What makes you think? Why do you think John Cena, Ric Flair will win? What is your? Give me your insights, Chad.
Ric Flair. Ric Flair, even though there was a bit of a setback on the go home SmackDown, I think Ric Flair's still on a roll, and I think John Cena is great, and that's why I picked him.
John
I
Cena.
think that will carry through.
I'm picturing you as a robot talking like John Cena is great. Ric Flair is on a roll. Mama's. Shut up, Brodus Clay. Did I hit next segment? No, we did not. In that tag team match, you're right, Chad. John Cena and Ric Flair, they get their comeuppance back, and Ric Flair, being the dirtiest player in the game, dirties it up against Jeff Jarrett and Chris Daniels, poking their eyes, grabbing their tits, yanking their balls, doing it all, Chad, and gets the win when Ric Flair pins Chris Daniels after a nice little DDT. A big win for John Cena, Ric Flair. Ric Flair going into WrestleMania now with a big win. Speaking of WrestleMania, though, the final bosses come out and they beat down John Cena and Ric Flair as they stand over them to signify that this is now real, Rick. This is your life. This is what you signed up for. There's no backing out now as they kill John Cena, Ric Flair here tonight. We move on, though. We go to commercial. What the hell? What the hell's William Regal doing here, Chad?
Oh, surprise!
What
the hell is he doing? We got no way out.
Chad, because we don't do TV shows anymore. He's such a man. As we don't do TV shows anymore, surprises like this, they're going to come up. Because if you have a wrestler debut on a TV show, you're just not going to see him until we get to here. So, you're asking yourself, why is this match happening? Well, let me go down the list. Sean Morley. He's been, ever since capturing the Intercontinental Championship, a thing he wanted so bad. We saw him, that was his life. Like, he needed that IC belt to live. Has been doing the exact opposite after capturing it. He's been just running away, hiding, lounging around, doing nothing. He was happy that he did not have a match at the Royal Rumble, because after a number one contender match on the Super Show of Monday Night Raw on 2002 ended in a double DQ, he didn't have a match. He didn't have an opponent. He didn't have a number one contender. And Jim Foley has been wondering and he was figuring out who could be that number one contender. And after Sean Morley won a singles match on the second week of Monday Night Raw, GM Foley got his man. Coming over from WCW, the former WCW TV champion, it's Sir William Regal. William Regal, he's a man's man, as Chad was singing, a technical wizard, very elegant in the ring. And after Sean Morley on the go home tried to attack William Regal, and William Regal, he's such a classy guy, elegantly moves away, counters him, went for a punch, and William Regal grabs his hand, puts him in an arm, wraps his arm behind his head, and throws Sean Morley out of the ring. This is going to be it's a dirty man of Sean Morley, a rat, taking on one of the best technical wrestlers in the game. The Intercontinental Championship on the line here, Chad. Who do you have?
He's a man, such a man. I pick Regal.
William Regal. Chad will pick William Regal, Chad. Let's see if you are correct. And about that had good wrestling and great heat. William Regal does defeat Sean Morley in 1827 because Sean Morley intentionally gets himself disqualified in this match, meaning he retains his Intercontinental Championship. As outside of the ring, he hit William Regal with the belt and just runs out of the crowd, knowing that he escapes this win here, Chad. He couldn't put away William Regal, and instead of just trying to beat him, he gets himself disqualified and gets out of the ring.
What a coward.
What a coward Sean Morley is, Chad. But nice pick here, Chad. Good pick.
Thank you. It technically is right.
Chad, what's your least favorite thing in the world?
What's my least favorite thing in the world?
Yeah. What's your least favorite thing?
I don't like beets.
Mine is love, and we have love on the menu right here, Chad. as it's the Rat Boys taking on China and Scott Steiner. We saw him at the Royal Rumble. What a beautiful moment it was going to be. The wedding of China and Scott Steiner. All of their friends were there. Rick Steiner came back for one night to be the best man. And right as they were about to kiss and say I do, Chad Collier and Fig, two mortal enemies of China and Scott Steiner, said, nah. And they ruined the wedding of China and Scott Steiner, and that has led to right now where Scott Steiner has been he's been needed to be held captive because he would have ripped anyone's head off to get a hold of Chad and Fig. He ruined his dream wedding, and now he's going to try to ruin their lives in the middle of the ring. It's the Rat Boys against China and Steiner. Who do you got, Chad?
Oh man, I gotta go with the Rat Boys.
Rat Boys. Well, Chad, you would be wrong. As why did it? Oh, there. Oh, you can go like this and move the chat. You can go like this and move the fucking. Oh. The text gets bigger and smaller. The Rat Boys do defeat China and Steiner here in 1748 when in the middle of the ring, Chad Collier makes China tap out, Chad.
You're damn
what
right.
What the hell? These guys just go back and forth.
Rat trap, baby. And no one gets out of the rat trap.
And the Rat Boys, after the match, they leave the ring. And Steiner goes over in a fit of rage to his beaten down wife or girlfriend or fiance at this point. And out of a fit of rage, Chad, I don't know what he snapped. He snapped, Chad. He puts her in the Steiner recliner.
Oh no.
Oh my. And then the referees and Salt Lake City's finest police officers have to escort. He's arrested, Chad, and he gets thrown out of the arena. She's already down and puts a woman in a Steiner recliner. That's really fucked up, Scott. That's really messed up. Speaking of messed up, Chad, what is your favorite NASCAR driver?
Ricky Bobby.
I thought you were going to say Ricky Rudd. I was going to be like, nice pull. No, mine's Chavo Guerrero Jr. Chad, we get this match once again. It's a loser leaves town. We've seen this matchup a couple times before. SummerSlam and Bad Blood 2002. United States Championship was on the line. We saw it was a blood feud, right? We thought, we saw Latin Lover go to Mexico, kill the Guerrero family. Eddie Guerrero was involved. Hector Guerrero was involved. Everything, like El Hijo del Santo made his return during that feud. We saw Mystico turn on Chavo to join Latin Lover. Everything went down. These guys have gone to war. We even saw it at the Royal Rumble just last month, where every time Latin Lover would get up, Chavo Guerrero was there just to beat his ass back down. Both men on the lead up to this show, though, they said this war's got to end. All right? This war's got to end with one of us killing the other one. And that has led to this match right here. Loser leaves town. The loser will be gone and banished from Friday Night SmackDown, Chad. Latin Lover, Chavo Guerrero Jr., who do you have in the loser leaves town street fight?
I've got Latin Lover.
Chad, you think Latin Lover will go 3-0 in this feud?
Yes.
All right. Well, Chad, you are correct. Because this guy is the biggest piece of shit I have ever seen in my life. And if someone doesn't hold me back commentating over this, I'm going to choke him out. That was
hold him back.
By Michael Cole. Fuck Latin Love. Jim. It's okay. That son of a bitch.
To the entertainers over there, my partner.
He keeps humiliating the Chavo Guerrero and the Guerrero. I've had enough. Jim Ross wants to fight Latin Lover as Latin Lover defeats Chavo Guerrero in 20. Latin Lover defeats Chavo Guerrero, though. Chavo Guerrero must leave Friday Night SmackDown, Chad. Off to WCW he goes.
Nitro. I'll see him on Monday. bro. This upcoming Monday.
Welcome to
Well, I guess you technically won't.
Welcome to Ring of Honor. You can fight BG James.
Yes.
John, what do you know about BG James?
Oh man.
Oh yeah, Lad Lover just relishes
guy.
in booze as Chavo sadly leaves, waving goodbye to the fans here tonight. We will not see him on a Friday Night SmackDown show ever again.
Man.
Backstage.
Nah.
Nah. Well, this is a dual branded show because we see right here Mick Foley and Eric Bischoff. Mick Foley in the GM suite challenges Eric Bischoff to a little competition at WrestleMania. And Eric Bischoff says, "What? You want to just like pick a guy? You want to have him wrestle?" And he says, "No, that's been done before. That's not original." And he challenges Eric Bischoff to a equivalent of the NFL Combine, an actual physical event with a couple events at WrestleMania, and whoever does better on said events will get the number one pick. That includes the 40-yard dash, vertical jump, bench press, a lot of things going into this athletic. It's going to be an athletic match, Chad. It's not an actual wrestling match. It's two guys who are going to have to do sprints up and down to find out who will draft number one, Chad.
Love that. That's hilarious.
I can't wait to watch Mick Foley do a 40-yard sprint, blow his hip out,
Yeah.
and just be fucked for years to come. Speaking of
It's
years,
a guy who's really old and a guy who's just like Mick Foley.
speaking of being fucked for
Beaten
years
down.
to come, we go and Dean Malenko can rot now for what he did to Brian Kendrick at the Royal Rumble, Chad. We went back. He chopped Brian Kendrick 64 times. 64 times. His chest looked like ECW purple. It was not good. We have not seen him in any sort of capacity since then. Paul London's been pissed off the last couple weeks. On 2 weeks ago on Friday Night SmackDown, called out Dean Malenko, who accepted on Monday Night Raw. Paul London was not going to let Dean Malenko sleep at night, knowing what he did to his partner. It's Paul London and Dean Malenko here, Chad. An interbrand match. Who do you have?
Give me Paul London.
Paul London. It's a good pick, Chad. Dean Malenko does chop the fuck out of Paul London during this match. Absolutely lays into him. The fans count like the sick delinquents they are. They get up to 22, and Paul London reverses the 23rd one and comes with a House of Fire, ending up hitting a 450 splash, the London Calling, and beating Dean Malenko here in 17:38. Paul London defeats Dean Malenko and gets his brother in. He gets his revenge for Brian Kendrick on Dean Malenko here, Chad. A nice win, a nice feel-good story, beating the old bastard Dean Malenko.
All I gotta say is 17:38.
Unbelievable. Brian Kendrick comes out to the ring and hugs his good friend for doing him well, Chad. Brian Kendrick's he's okay. He's all right. He's not dead. He's not dead like the rumors were, because 60. Remember, the referees had to escort Brian Kendrick over the top ropes so he didn't get hurt anymore because he was that fucked up in the ring. Chad, our co-main event now, Chad.
Thank God he's okay.
Yeah, thank God he's okay.
All right. Co-main event time, baby.
The Undertaker and Don Fry.
Hell yeah.
Don Fry.
No pun intended.
Hell yeah. What does that mean? Hell yeah?
Because he's Undertaker. He's from hell.
No, he's from Death Valley. That's a city in California.
Oh.
Hell's a city in Michigan. Two different states, Jay. Come on.
Don Fry's from Hell, Michigan.
No, he's from Michigan. He's from McDonald's.
Oh.
French fries.
So.
Get it? He's the Don of Fry. Don Fry, Chad, on the come down of his big loss to Masawa at Armageddon last year. He demanded a rematch at the Royal Rumble in the first week of 2003. There was nothing more than he needed to than beating Masawa and winning the gold. He lost that number one contendership match against Jun Akiyama. rendering him no shot at the world title at the Rumble. And at that point, no even shot of being in the Rumble. He had no prospects of becoming a world champion at that point. We saw The Undertaker in the middle of January walk by and said, "Don't worry, champ. Taker's got this." As he said he was going to win the Rumble, and he was going to be the one to beat Masawa. And then we saw at the Rumble, Chad. We saw at the Rumble the lights go out as Taker was going to win, and Don Frye appeared in an all black getup, motorcycle helmet, and knocked out with one punch The Undertaker and dumped him over the top rope. People were clamoring, "Why, Frye? Why? Boo! You suck, Don Frye!" And that we got the answers.
They were actually asking where the Wi-Fi was. They were going, "Wi-Fi, why?"
It's shut the fuck up. Taker spent the next couple weeks. He spent February demanding Don Frye. He said he was going to kill him. He was going to murder him. And he even
murdering people on the show.
We're on the WrestleMania season, brother. He resorted to even choke slamming Don Frye's assistant, his brother in arms, Arn Anderson, which got Don Frye's attention, and they brawled to end the last go home show of Friday Night SmackDown. Now we get Don Frye and The Undertaker here tonight, Chad. Who do you got? Bitch, who do you love? Chad has got The Undertaker. Well, Chad, Don Frye puts out The Undertaker. Knocked him out after Arn Anderson came in with the referee knocked out, hits a spine buster, picks him up. Don Frye knocked him out. And then Don Frye, with Arn Anderson getting the referee back up, back into consciousness, puts in the drag your sleeper, and Taker's already unconscious. And Don Frye has choked out The Undertaker in 1829. Don Frye beats Taker to here tonight, Chad.
Wow.
Arn Anderson, though. Arn Anderson, that little piece of shit. Not a clean win, but Don Frye gets it done. And speaking of clean wins, we get to our main event match tonight. Chad, we see Alex Wright coming out first. He's the first entrant. He lost a triple threat match against Brock Lesnar and Triple H 2 weeks ago on Monday Night Raw. The loser, the one who got pinned, Alex Wright, had to enter number one. That's crazy. Number two, Kurt Angle, who qualified a couple weeks ago, beating Dean Malenko to earn his spot here. He beat Vince McMahon at Royal Rumble. He's beaten the Black McMahon Dynasty, and now he's got his eyes set on gold, World Heavyweight Championship. Chad, number 3 will be Scott Studd. Number 4 will be Bryan Danielson. Number 5 will be Triple H. And number 6 will be the man who won that triple threat to get the final spot, Brock Lesnar. Who do you have in this Elimination Chamber match? Who will headline the Raw side of WrestleMania with Randy Orton?
As much as I'd love to fancy myself a stud muffin, I am nothing more but a realist. And that's why I'm picking tonight Brock Lesnar.
As much as I would love to see Scott Studd with this, Chad, oh my God, it would be cool. Randy Orton is out to the ring. He's out to watch this match, Chad. And this match goes great. Alex Wright and Kurt Angle, they start this match off. The hectic speed from Alex Wright, who just clashes with the in-your-face, loudmouth, hard-hitting style of Kurt Angle. They beat the shit out of each other. Scott Studd, who's in the... this is his first kind of big-time moment here, Chad. We haven't seen Scott Studd in a match. This is his first main event, not only on TV, but on pay-per-view. This is... oh, he's in the biggest moment. The light is shining bright on Scott Studd. You know, as he's doing it all for Devin Storm, his best friend that passed away earlier in November of last year. He comes in, he goes, starts fighting. Bryan Danielson is in this point at this moment. And Bryan Danielson, his big spot of the match, as he climbs up to the top of one of the pods, Chad, the pod that Triple H is in. He flips off Triple H. They have a little bad blood. Remember the DX angle back in the day, where Shawn Michaels brought in Bryan Danielson to be in DX, and he was like, "What the fuck's this about?" Brian Anderson flips off Triple H, does a jumping missile drop kick to Scott Studd, eliminates Scott Studd there. What a good showing for Scott Studd, but he is the first one eliminated.
Turn him to dust with that impact and missile drop kick that high.
Triple H comes in immediately right after the 1, 2, 3, pedigrees Brian Danielson. Doesn't eliminate him though. He wants to bring pain to him. Brock Lesnar is now in. All 5 guys are in. And Chad, do you just want to get to who wins this match?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see. I can't wait anymore, Justin. I have to know.
Lesnar pins Kurt Angle to win the Elimination Chamber. Kurt Angle is so close, but he can't get it done. Brock Lesnar F5's Kurt Angle to win the Elimination Chamber, and he will get his opportunity to go back and fight Randy Orton, the man that killed him at Hell in a Cell at SummerSlam 2000. He's been on the shelf since. Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton, WrestleMania. Scott Studd, a great showing. A 75 from Scott Studd, Chad.
That's wild.
Give it up for Scott Studd, who's been out of a mega role as of late, and a big, what more can I say about everyone? 98 from Alex Redden, 88 Brian Danielson, Brock 94, Triple H 94, and Kurt Angle 100 from Kurt Angle. And we get this match at WrestleMania. We now know 3 matches for WrestleMania. We see Toshi Uematsu and Shigeru Nagayo. We have Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar. And we have the greatest of all time against the most dangerous of all time. It's Ric Flair and Masawa. WrestleMania 19 is stacking to be one of the greatest WrestleMania 19s of all time, and we will see you there. But first, WCW Superbrawl, Chad.
It will be one of the greatest WrestleMania 19s of all time.
A 98. Chad, can you give the fans something to look forward to in Superbrawl?
Yeah, we're getting... All right, everybody, we are here at Superbrawl, and Justin, I believe we said this was the 9th one?
13th, Chad. Weren't even close.
13th, yes. Not even close. This is the 13th. Yes, you're right.
Oh,
this is the 13th Superbrawl.
I didn't even go over the last fucking No Way Out. I'm ashamed. Let's go over the last few Superbrawls in this save. We'll start at Super Brawl 10, Chad. We'll start at the pre-show. We see Stardust defeating Kurt Hennig. We've had Chyna and Jacqueline Moore defeating Cutie Suzuki and David Malenko. Alex DNA defeating Red Sensor. We saw El Hijo del Santo over Vader. We have the Open, DDP and Kevin Nash. Best of the Best defeating La Parka and La Sharka and the Dudley Boys. Sting over Foley. RVD over Hall. Chef over Hoovy. Brett over Savage. And Raven over DDP, who already wrestled that night. Oh, DDP versus Kevin Nash to see who would say, okay. That's cool. That's cool. That was where? That was in Nashville. All right. Then we go to Alabama the next year. We have pre-show Chyna over Jacqueline Moore, Sting over Hall, Samoa Joe over Johnny Devine. Okay. Too cool over
I think this was Samoa Joe's debut, or I think it was close to his debut.
Too cool over the Clam Crew. Bubbles, the Dudleys taking on Beat the Planet Almond. Regal and Stardust over the Freelancers, which are now Truth and Chairs. Ray over Daniels, Steiner over Jeff Hardy, Hoovy over AJ Styles, Owen Hart DQ win over Shamrock, Minoru Suzuki beats Goldberg, Benoit over Bret Hart, Foley over Mick Foley, and Chris versus Chris. They were first 100 in a while. Jericho versus Canyon. And last year's Super Bowl, Chad, in Denver, Colorado, the Pepsi Center. Perry Saturn defeats Chris Hero. The Hardys over the Colognes. Brett over Samoa Joe in an Iron Man match for the World Heavyweight Championship to open the show. Debbie over Lita. Oh, did you have Lita?
You took Lita from me, yeah.
Do not remember. Wow, do not remember that at all.
Yeah, because I was setting up. I think I was setting up Trish versus Lita, and then you took Lita from me.
Bobby Roode over Lance Storm and Tyson, duh. Okay.
Yeah, a 2-on-1 handicap match.
How's that worked out for any of those guys? Chuck Pullum on the Wild Boys defeat the Finleys and the Hollies. All right. Hoovy and Super Crazy defeat the Unexpected Excellence, which is Do Not Tell
Raven
Me.
and Owen Hart.
Okay, never mind.
Oh, sorry, I didn't
Lodi over Helms and Chris Candido. Benoit over Styles. Benoit over Shannon Moore back to back. Sting over Ray. Goldberg defeats Stardust. The Dudley Boys defeat the Immortal Gentlemen. Minoru beats Regal in the last man standing match, and Goldberg cashes in right after, and Shawn Michaels and Kip James defeat Jericho and Ahmed. Ahmed main eventing last year's Super Bowl. Ahmed this year, if he got booked, I would make fun of him. How the mighty have fallen, Chris. I mean, Ahmed's a guy.
Shawn Michaels is main eventing back-to-back Super Brawls.
Ahmed going from main event to actual jobber is kind of disrespectful to Ahmed, to be honest with you.
Would you consider him a full job?
Do you want
jobber,
me to, Chad? Do you want me to bring up his wins and losses?
No, he's been losing a lot.
Yeah, yeah, he's been losing a lot. He's a former 1 or 2 time world champion here, and he's now resorted to fucking Saturday night job matches
multiple times.
He's like an unbelievable, just fucking plummet down the card.
He started getting awful.
This game is a lot of, if your popularity is good, it can kind of overlook a bad wrestler. But when you start losing a lot, your pop goes down, and then the ratings go down because A, he's not over, and B, he's not a good wrestler. Ahmed was big enough where he could kind of skew the ratings a little bit because of his overness, but then you go down a little bit of a win-loss, and then, oof. Well, I mean, where is he at now? Let's be honest. He's in the 54. Where was he last year? 72. What did he even get? He's 0-4 last. He's 6-23. Last year. Last year was 6-23. I mean, he got a 72 in the match. It's not like he was dog shit last year either. He just, I don't know. I don't know where that went wrong. I don't know. He didn't wrestle for a month after that. Lost to Jericho in a fucking, looks like a handicap match. Lost to Taz. Lost to Battle Royal. Lost to Six-Man. Lost to Punk. Beat Sandman. Good for you. Lost to Sandman the week after. Beat Matt Sydal on a pre-show. Lost. Beat the Harris Twins. So he's got a win over the Harris Twins, who beat the Hearts at Starrcade. Cool. Loss. Yeah. I don't know. You kind of just gave up on him. Poor Ahmed. Everyone, pour one out for Ahmed.
Pour one out for Ahmed.
Nah, let's start the show, John.
And then pour yourself a new one and start watching the show, because we have officially started. We have the Super Brawl panel, of course, as tradition to have here to start our show. Just a nice little panel to give us their professional expertise and predictions on the match, and while that's happening, we got guys like Shelton Benjamin and Hardcore Holly who aren't booked to compete tonight. And so, who better to ask than current professionals? We've got the commissioner of Nitro. We got Ted DiBiase, who is like the, one of the majority owners of WCW. We got Theodore Long, who is acting as the interim / maybe assistant general manager of Thunder, because of course Roddy Piper, the current general manager of Thunder, is busy, and you'll see what he's doing later on in the show. Sable, who has just secured a new tag team to manage, the Harris Twins, who have lost the tag titles to the Hearts, and we're starting to have a little bit of a self-doubt, and Sable's here to help them get back on track. And of course Paul Heyman, who is of course leading the Paul Heyman guys stable. Big Daddy V, of course. But then, if you didn't watch the last pay-per-view, he recruited Chris Benoit after Chris Benoit lost a match where he was forced to join, so I guess he didn't really get recruited. And Minoru Suzuki, who he did recruit and has rejoined from one of his old people he used to manage from back in the day. They're all discussing the match. They talk about, our two world title matches. Shawn Michaels versus Rey Mysterio, mask versus belt. They talk about Hulk Hogan versus The Rock. That's gonna happen tonight for the Universal Championship. And while that's happening, Jeremy Borash is talking, and then Bill Goldberg comes out and runs in a full sprint towards Jeremy Borash. Everyone thought he was going to spear Jeremy Borash because, of course, Goldberg, in a fit of rage, being frustrated over how his match went against The Rock, didn't take too kindly to Jeremy Borash just simply asking a question and has speared him. And then Jeremy Borash threatened to sue, and Goldberg speared him again. And then Jeremy Borash brought out his lawyer and, basically said, if you lay a hand on Jeremy Borash, Goldberg, your entire WCW contract is going to go to Jeremy Borash. And Jeremy Borash, at the sight of that, his eyes started lighting up. He was like, "Oh my God, that's a lot of money!" And so he's been trying to get Goldberg to spear him to get that money. And Bill Goldberg gets pretty close, but then stops and says, "Good job out there doing this panel, Jeremy Borash. You're doing great." And then leaves, and everyone is laughing because it's funny. Jeremy Borash looks both happy because it looks like he's seen a ghost, and also very sad because he missed out on that money. But Justin, that is our pre-show panel. We go to our first video package for our first match of the night.
Yes, we do.
Oh, sorry, I did not mean for a 15-hour-long panel.
No, that's good, Chad. We have to make up for not running TVs anymore. The panels explaining what's going on. These long panels are necessary here in these new era of Jmack gaming. But we don't have a pre-cap. Okay, well.
Oh, okay.
Immediately just walking in with your dick in your hands, Chad. Come on now.
I know for a fact I put a video package.
It's 99% right after, you little dum-dum.
I bet it's next. Well, okay, so here's what's happened, right?
I'm going to guess Taz wins.
Oh, good call. They've been trying to, both pick, but they both wanted a title match against Taz. Greg Sasuke basically said Matt didn't deserve it because Matt's already lost to Taz, which is true. But Matt Hardy beats Great Sasuke in a singles match, and so Matt Hardy says, "Well, I beat you, and if you're worthy, then I'm clearly worthy." So they wrestled on Thunder to determine the number one contender, and it went to a time limit draw. The rare moments that a match has expired due to time limit draw on WCW. That doesn't happen very often. Normally our wrestlers are very good at abiding by the timeline, the time limit given, but this time it was different. And so there was this big conversation, this big argument over who deserves it more, and Taz basically just kind of came out and said exactly what you would expect Taz to say. He said, "Listen, it doesn't really matter which one of you is going to face me at Superbrawl, and because I'm going to win. In fact, it's Superbrawl, and I'm looking for a brawl, so how about I fight both of you in a three-way?" And that's kind of what has brought us to this point. Taz versus Matt Hardy versus Great Sasuke. Taz, who has been on a very strong run with the Cruiserweight Championship, versus Great Sasuke, who has had a really good run lately, has been having good match quality, and has been picking up some big wins. And Matt Hardy, who was the former champion, and in about that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Taz defeats Matt Hardy and Great Sasuke when Taz pinned Great Sasuke with a T-bone suplex. Taz makes defense number 2 of the Cruiserweight title.
There you go. I'm going to guess Taz.
Call. Oh. And here's that video package summing up exactly what I just said.
I hope you put it at the end of every one of these.
That'd be so funny.
That'd be so fucking funny. Oh, no, it's right.
Okay, no. We didn't. So we are now here for our second match of the night. We've got Takako Inu taking on Minami Toyota. So this match, Takako had, you talk about the last match that we just had with Sasuke picking up a few wins to get in the conversation for the title. Takako has been doing that too. She's been putting on really good matches and been picking up wins. And so basically challenged Minami Toyota to a title match. And these two have had a historic rivalry in Japan. They have had many battles, and Takako says, and I want to have one more. So fight me at Superbrawl. Put your women's championship on the line, and let's go to war one more time. And Toyota responds the next week. She doesn't give that challenge a response until the next week. And she says, you say we went to war. You've never beaten me in singles action. So I don't really know if it's much of a war. I think it's more of an absolute decimation. And quite frankly, that's not worth it to me anymore. I think that's not worth my time. So unfortunately, Takako, my answer is no. And, Takako, she says, well, what do I have to do to prove to you that I'm worthy? What do I have to do to prove? Minami Toyota says, well, for starters, let's see if... you need to fight my big gun, Nicole Bass. And so, the next week, Takako Inu, she pinned Nicole Bass one-on-one in a singles match. And then, she then said, give me my match now. Give me my match. And, Ted DiBiase, he made the match, begrudgingly, because Toyota still didn't think she was worthy. But nonetheless, match got made. We got Minami Toyota versus Takako Inu for the Women's Championship.
Two of the best to do it. Two former WWF Women's Champions going at it here tonight. I am going to go with the car.
You're going to go with the car?
Yes, Toyota.
Oh, that was funny. Perfect. Justin picks Toyota.
Ha, that was funny. No laughter.
I laughed. Minami Toyota defeats Takako Inu with an Ocean Queen Bee bomb following a Nicole Bass interference. Takako Inu, don't let the outcome fool you. Takako Inu gave Minami Toyota a fight. It was a very evenly matched. I mean, these two know each other so well. Takako she had a very game Takako Inu today, because everything Toyota threw at her, Takako had an answer for. And actually looked really strong. And a lot of people thought Toyota took her lightly, and now it's gonna cost her. That was the second Ocean Queen Bee bomb that was hit that night, because she kicked out the first one, and everyone was shocked. So much so that Nicole Bass had to run in and interfere just when it looked like Takako was closing in on the championship, Justin. And that, she's the hired gun for a reason for Minami Toyota. She's there to ensure a victory, and she did just that.
I've completely forgot about Miss Nicole Bass. So that was a good pop for the boys back home. Nicole Bass coming in, the hired gun.
Nicole Bass. We have the recap video for our big storyline involving Kanyon and Fit Finlay, ladies and gentlemen. You see, Fit Finlay has been on a path, a war path to try to get Kanyon, get even, as Kanyon cost Finlay the Money in the Bank ladder match. And they fought at the pay-per-view, and Kanyon, though he cheated, was victorious. And Fit Finlay, he didn't like that. He wanted a rematch. And, Kanyon said no at first, and then the next week on Nitro, Fit Finlay blasted Kanyon over the head with a shillelagh. And, which, as it would, really pissed off Kanyon. And Kanyon, was pretty mad that he got embarrassed on TV. And he says, "Listen, Finlay, you could have given me a concussion and put me on the shelf. I take that stuff seriously. So fine, I will fight you." And Fit Finlay says, "Well, if you want to get even, how about we fight in a shillelagh on a pole match?" And Justin, Kanyon, he accepts the challenge, and we have Fit Finlay versus
shillelagh on a pole match.
A shillelagh on a pole match.
Hello, Vince Russo. I'm still calling. I left my pager, my home phone, and my number at the bottom. If you do not put Fit Finlay over in a fucking shillelagh on a pole match, you are dead to me. I'm going to click next segment. If this doesn't say Fit Finley wins, I'm going to close my eyes and I want you to read it out to me. All right? I'm going to hit
I
it.
got you, of course. Yeah.
Okay, read it out
And
to me.
in a good match, Fit Finley
Yes!
defeats Canyon, and then and an item on a pole match when Finley retrieved the shillelagh, and then as he grabs the shillelagh, turns around and once again blasts Canyon over the head with it. As the crowd pops, they all boo Canyon. He sucks.
He does
I
suck.
got 82, Justin.
He does suck. Everyone hates Finley. All my boys hate Fit Finley.
Everybody hates Fit Finley because he's getting stale, and it looks like we need a gimmick refreshing for Mr. Finley.
Okay. Sorry, I was looking at something. All right, continue.
Yes, okay. So, everybody, hello. Travis Tomko is here. So, Chris Candido and AJ Styles, they were continuing the beef that they had. AJ Styles was upset that Chris Candido denied AJ Styles when he put out an open challenge for the television championship, and AJ Styles has been trying to get a match against Chris Candido ever since. Well, he finally gets it, everybody. He finally gets it on an episode of Thunder. Chris Candido versus AJ Styles. That was actually also the same Thunder that the Harris Twins versus the Hearts for the tag belts. So
Ooh.
That's pretty cool. It was a big action-packed Thunder. I believe it was also the Goldberg Rock rematch. Excuse me. It was an action-packed Thunder, and this was the aftermath of that because Chris Candido had a little help because in the crowd who attacked AJ Styles was a hooded figure, and he throws the hood up, and oh my goodness, it's Travis Tomko, and everyone's like, what in the hell is Travis Tomko doing here? To be revealed the next week that Travis Tomko and Chris Candido met when they were both bouncing at a bar when they were both in wrestling school. They bounced together to try to pay the bills, and so Travis Tomko, he said, when I saw that you won the TV title, and finally did it without any dumb gimmicks like Dave Meltzer. There's no sweet sensations here. It's just Chris Candido, and I'm happy for you, and I'm gonna do my best to make sure you keep that. And AJ Styles, he kind of came out and he says, he was pissed off at Travis Tomko, quite frankly, and he wanted to get a little payback. And the numbers game was a little too much. AJ Styles needed to go find some help. And wouldn't you know it, Justin, there was a guy who just came back after a little bit of a break after losing the TV title to Chris Candido, Icon Sting. And Sting shows up. Yeah, and Sting shows up after AJ was in a 2-on-1 beatdown. The lights go off. They come back on, and standing behind Chris Candido and Travis Tomko is Sting. And Sting, started whooping ass. And, Chris Candido and Travis Tomko, they flee, they ran. And Sting told AJ, you know what, I got your back. Because yes, Chris Candido took my TV title from me, but you know what, that's going to happen. I'll get that back. But right now, I want to help you, AJ. And AJ, he accepts the help. And Justin, that sets us up for our match at Superbrawl. We have a tag team match. Chris Candido and Travis Tomko taking on AJ Styles and Sting.
I am going to go with the good guys. Travis Tomko and Chris Candido. Those are... Okay, I was wrong.
Those are the good guys. Just kidding, they're not. As we have a decent match, Sting and AJ Styles defeated Chris Candido and Travis Tomko when AJ pinned Travis Tomko with a spiral tap.
Travis Tomko coming in and being a boo, he's being a boob. He sucks. He can't win. 29 for Travis Tomko, Chad.
Not great.
Maybe you should have done some research into the kid instead of giving him a big program first.
Not great, but hey, you know what? It's promising start for the young man. He's in there with Sting and AJ Styles.
Yeah, I guess so, but he can barely go. He can barely go. Oh,
and we have a backstage segment.
Speaking of boobs,
so Trish Stratus, in the last few weeks leading up to this pay-per-view, has had a little bit of a beef with Ivory, because Trish Stratus called her old, basically. She said, you know what, Ivory, listen, it's okay that you can't win these big matches. People your age, they usually start to decline athletically. And the next week, Trish Stratus brought her a brochure for like nursing homes. And so they started fighting, and Trish Stratus fought her once, and she cheated, and Ivory said, you know what, I'm gonna fight you again, and Trish Stratus said, listen, I'll fight you again, but you just need to be careful because your bones are sensitive. And then attacked her one like a cheap shot, which of course led to her losing to Trish again. And then and so now she's backstage, and she says, a lot of people keep telling me that I'm this horrible person or that I hate old people. I love old people. And I love Ivory, and that's why I care so much, because I want her grandchildren and her great grandchildren to be protected. And I know you haven't put a lot away in your will, and I worry about you, and I'm a good person for worrying. I don't know why everyone's so hostile lately. And then Nora Greenwald comes into the locker room and she says, "Trish, listen, no one cares, okay? Shut up. She's not. Ivory is not that old, and that's disrespectful." And Trish Stratus says, "Nora, you know what's disrespectful? You getting 2 title matches. That's what's disrespectful." She says, "I think you need to watch who you're talking to, because let's not forget, I'm the face of this women's division." And she says, "And listen, you tell me I need to mind my elders. Well, last time I checked, Nora, you're older than me too." And Nora says, "I am." And she says, "And so because of that, I am going to respect my elders. I'm going to be the bigger person and walk away." And then as she's walking away, she turns around and slaps Nora Greenwald across the face. Um, Trish Stratus hates old people.
Yeah, as do I. So I will be picking Trish Stratus in this match. Old people are just. I don't want to get into it.
We don't need to get into it.
Just for the respect of all the old people watching this
Exactly.
YouTube.
Exactly.
Oh, never mind. They don't know how to work computers. Okay, well, Punk and Piper isn't up next.
Yes. Okay. So
where's the fucking
CM
match?
Punk, it's gonna be after this little intro.
Where's the Trish match?
She didn't have a match. That was just a segment.
Well, I want her to have a match. Book it right now, Chad. Come on, wrap it up.
You'll have to wait. Well, I can't book it right now, but I'll tell you what. I'll book it for Nitro. Anyway, CM Punk versus Roddy Piper. CM Punk, he basically said he had issue with how things were going here. He says, the fact of the matter is Hulk Hogan got lucky, all right, because the fans that brought the weapons to that pay-per-view were a bunch of uncivilized cretins, and I was worried for my life. I wasn't in the right headspace to wrestle Hulk Hogan. And listen, a broken clock is right twice a day, and Hulk Hogan, even though he could barely move because he was so old, he got lucky, all right? And the fact that he's wrestling The Rock is ridiculous. So do the right thing, reverse the match, and put me in the match at Superbrawl against The Rock. And Roddy Piper was like, "I am not going to do that." He says, listen, if you have a problem with how things are done here in WCW, stop complaining about it and do something about it. Don't lose a match, and don't complain about it on the microphone. I want to see you, handle it the way a wrestler should handle it. And then the next week, CM Punk invites Roddy Piper to come out to the ring. He says, "Roddy, I've thought about what you've said. I really have. I've taken your advice, and I've really thought about it, because, Roddy, you're one of the absolute best in this industry. And the fact that you're here running Thunder means, that I need to listen to you, and I need to follow in your footsteps. And Roddy, listen, that makes a lot of sense, and I just want to say to you, I'm sorry that I complained about it to you. You're right. That's not how I should have handled things." And Roddy Piper, he says, he looks at CM Punk and he says, "Something tells me you're not really sorry." And Punk says, "No, Roddy, I promise. I'm sorry. You're right. I should have handled it differently. And you know what? If you don't want to, listen, at the very least, shake my hand. That's all I want. Shake CM Punk's hand, and we can move on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry." And Roddy Piper, he doesn't shake CM Punk's hand. He just kind of like walks away. And then CM Punk says, okay. And then as Roddy Piper is leaving, Punk bashes him in the head with the microphone, and then just starts beating him down, kicking him, stomping him into the turnbuckle, punching him over and over again. He just starts whipping Roddy Piper's ass, quite frankly. He rips Roddy Piper's rowdy shirt off and just starts he throws a couple of chops, but not too many because he knows, another company likes to do a lot of chops and he doesn't want to get sued for gimmick infringement.
Watch it.
But he takes a steel chair and he just hoists Roddy with it as Roddy falls to the ground. CM Punk just looks around and he says, "That's how you wanted me to handle it. So that's how I handled it." And then the next week, Roddy Piper, he says, "You know what, CM Punk, I was trying to be professional. It's my job as the general manager of Thunder to be professional. I didn't come here to hog the spotlight. You claim that people from my generation, like Hulk Hogan, they're just clamoring on to what little starlight they have left. But the fact of the matter is, CM Punk, that's not true. I love professional wrestling, and I know what I can give to wrestling. And maybe that's not being in the ring, but it was giving the best product to these people. And CM Punk, I told you that you talked too much and that you were a whiny little punk. And you know what? And you proved you decided to take a cheap shot when my back was turned and whoop my ass. And you know what, CM Punk? Consider me finally impressed. It's about time you did something instead of complaining about something. So now you have a problem with how things are run? CM Punk, I now have a problem with you. So let's settle it at Superbrawl. You versus me. CM Punk versus Roddy Piper. And you're not getting Roddy Piper, the general manager of Thunder. You're getting the Hot Rod, Roddy Piper. So we got CM Punk versus Roddy Piper.
I'm going to pick the fans here tonight because they get to see Roddy Piper fight. The fans.
You know what? That's a wholesome answer. And about that great heat and good wrestling, the fans.
Lost.
Sorry, I mean, CM Punk defeated Roddy Piper in 10-14 with an arm triangle choke.
Yeah, that's the right call. You can't go 10 minutes? Was he not just full-timing in New Japan at this point? Well, not in real life, but in the game.
Crazy.
New Japan was whipping him out there for 20 minutes, and he was dying.
I wanted him to go 12. I wanted him to go 12 minutes, and they said, "Nah, too long." And I said, "Okay,
the only thing you could have
too long." And I went, "Well, he's going 10."
The only thing you could have done was making it a slow build, which would have saved him a little bit. But you still need to do 15.
Pepper still dragging out a 62 ain't bad though.
No, not at all. 85. Yeah.
Thanks, Jeremy Borash.
Look how that's him looking at you, mad that you booked Roddy Piper for.
I can't believe you would do that. That's him looking at me when I say 10 minutes. Roddy Piper.
Fake
10 minutes.
Hall, fake Nash.
Hollywood Hogan is backstage. He's warming up for his big match, and Justin, as we announced on the last pay-per-view, Hall and Nash, they went to New Japan Pro Wrestling. But fear not, because it was a short stay, because Hall and Nash are back. They showed up, and they told Hollywood Hogan, "You know what? Listen here, brother. All right, we know you got a big match coming up against The Rock, and we want to let you know the offer that we gave you a few weeks ago about us having your back, NWO for life. I want you to know that me and Scott, we've got your back." And then Hall says, "Hey, yo!" And says, "I agree with my boy Kevin over here. We got your back, Hogan. And even though a couple weeks ago you beat us with The Rock in your corner, we know you're under a lot of stress, so we don't fault you for that. But just know, tonight, we got your back." And Hollywood Hogan, he says, once again, "Neither one of you are Hall and Nash. I see two jabronis, brother." He says, "And jabronis don't hang out with Hulk Hogan, brother. Thanks, but no thanks, Jack. I will go beat The Rock myself. I'm going to go win the Universal Championship, brother. and you two can watch from catering, brother.
Brother. I swear to God, a fake Hall and fake Nash. Hope The Rock win the night. The series is over.
Series is over. Meanwhile, our next video package that we get to help us up for our next match, coming off of the aftermath of our last pay-per-view, Rob Van Dam in the XWO, they were not successful against the Wicked. They lost. And, then, of course, there was a vicious attack on Tommy Dreamer and Devon Dudley, and we haven't seen them since. And, Rob Van Dam, he was enraged. He couldn't do anything. His friends were getting beaten down while he was handcuffed to the ring ropes. He was just irate, and he is out for payback. So he said, you know what? I don't care which member of the Wicked I just come out here. I want to fight you. I want to fight, and I want to kick your ass, and I want to get extreme. And so Mil Muertes answered the call, and Rob Van Dam beat Mil Muertes that week in an Extreme Rules match. But he says, I'm just, that made up for one of my friends. That was one of my friends. That one was for Devon. Now I gotta get one for Tommy. And so the next week it was Rob Van Dam versus Relic in an Extreme Rules match, and Rob Van Dam, he beat Relic. And he said, that was for Rob, that was for Tommy, that was for Devon, and this one's for me. He says, Abyss, you're the only one left. And Abyss actually comes into the ring, meets him head on, and tells Rob Van Dam, if you think I'm afraid of you, I'm not. He says, if you think the beat down you gave, if you think what you did to Mills and Relic were extreme, if you think what I did to Tommy Dreamer and Devon were extreme, get ready. Because at Superbrawl, it's not just extreme. Something wicked is coming for you, Rob. Which brings us to our big match tonight, Abyss versus Rob Van Dam in an Extreme Rules match, Justin.
Fuck. I mean, you gotta put Abyss over, yeah. RVD doesn't need this. There's no need. Abyss doesn't. Abyss needs this win, Jen. He really does.
Abyss
RVD
needs this win.
Former World War III winner, main eventer for a while. Has he ever won the big gold?
Current Money in the Bank holder.
Current Money in the Bank holder.
He has won the world title.
Has he really?
Has he? Or at least he wrestled a Starrcade for it. Maybe he didn't win.
I don't think he won. Yeah, it's gotta be Abyss here. Oop. Yeah.
And in About the Head, great wrestling and good heat. Abyss defeats Rob Van Dam in an Extreme Rules match with the shock treatment. That shock treatment, Justin, was through a bed of tacks.
Did you do a stump bump?
No,
You're so boring.
I'll do that for the next spot I want to do.
All right. What's up next?
We go backstage and we see Paul Heyman, and he's standing next to Big Daddy V, who is the reigning defending United States champion, Minoru Suzuki and Chris Benoit. And he says, Tonight we have an opportunity. Send a message to WCW and to send a message to all of Monday Nitro. Because you see, I said weeks ago that we were looking to collect on some gold. Minoru Suzuki, Chris Benoit, looking to get some gold. And so we attacked Billy Gunn and Big Show during their tag team championship celebration. Got ourselves our match. Now, boys, tonight we have an opportunity to do something big. After we beat the Big Show and Billy, we will have all of the gold. Which means the next big target, the next big free agent for the Paul Heyman guys will have no choice but to work alongside the greatest advocate of professional wrestling Paul Heyman, and all three champions. Tonight is simple, gentlemen. Don't blow the weeks and weeks of preparation that I have given you. Go in there, finish the job, and bring back those WCW Nitro Tag Team titles. Understood? And
You got it, boss.
And Suzuki just looks at Paul and he says, I'll get those tag titles.
You got it, boss.
Justin, we've got Minoru Suzuki and Chris Benoit versus the Big Guns. Yes. Justin, Suzuki was just... the match started off, it was Big Show versus Suzuki. They squared off. It was hot. The crowd were like popping. They were like, this is awesome. And then while that was happening, Billy Gunn says, let me take a crack at him, and tags himself in. And, you know, he gets in Suzuki's face and Suzuki headbutts him and then just starts Suzuki. He just starts whooping Mr. Ass's ass. It was pretty much just a Suzuki / Benoit kind of like beatdown of Billy Gunn for most of the match. And Benoit, a phenomenal wrestler, former United States champion, one of the best United States champions of all time, former world champ. He was able to, between his technical prowess and Minoru Suzuki's strong style, it was looking real rough. And then Billy Gunn is able to capitalize off of a mistake made by Chris Benoit. And with that mistake, he was able to get a tag on Big Show. Big Show gets the hot tag and, was able to get the win after he chokeslammed Benoit. And after the match, Suzuki is just irate. He's just like looking around like mad as hell that he lost. And he's like looking at Benoit being like, what are you doing? And Benoit's arguing with Suzuki. He's like, they're like head to head, nose to nose right now, Suzuki and Benoit. While the Big Guns are celebrating their tag team championships that they retained.
Well, I'm glad the Suzuki guys, Heyman guys, have lasted all but 28 days without dissension.
Oh, I mean, Benoit never wanted to be there in the first place.
Well, Suzuki did.
And that's why he's mad.
And he's mad that he's here?
He's mad that his tag team partner made a silly mistake in his eyes and cost him the tag titles. Suzuki's never really been a calm guy,
Yes. Oh, Jesus Christ.
As we get to our Universal Championship match, Hollywood Hogan versus The Rock. Of course, this match is happening because Hollywood Hogan beat CM Punk and a Hulkamaniacs Bring the Weapons match. He was able to get the win, and and Hollywood Hogan, he said on Thunder that greatest night of his life was the night he went into the WCW Hall of Fame. He said the second best night of my life was the very first time I ever won the World Heavyweight Championship with WCW. And the second best memory I've ever had, and he does that for all 5 of his championship reigns. And then he says, and brother, I think I got one more great memory left in me. He says, now I know I'm not as athletic as I used to be, brother. I know that Hollywood Hogan isn't as fast as he used to be. I know that I'm not as strong as I used to be, brother. But I gotta tell you something, Jack. When you Hulkamaniacs cheer my name, when I see you all hulking up in the crowd with me, brother, it sends something through my body, brother. I'm not the same guy anymore, brother. I'm right back to where I was when I was slamming Andre, brother. I'm back, and I may not be back all the time, brother, but I can be back for now, brother. I can be back I got one more run in me, and at Superbrawl, brother, I'm gonna win that Universal Championship. And The Rock comes out and he says, Hogan, The Rock is very impressed with what The Rock is hearing. The Rock is hearing you hulk up, and The Rock's got goosebumps. The Rock can't believe believe the things that the Hulkster's saying, but The Rock wants you to know, Hogan. The Rock wants you to listen very, very carefully. The Rock has not been pinned, submitted, defeated since being in WCW. The only thing that stopped The Rock was The Rock when The Rock picked up an injury, but The Rock is back and better than ever, baby, and The Rock is not going to lose Hollywood Hogan. Hollywood Hogan says, "We'll see about that, brother." And Rock says, "You're right. The WCW people will see about that. They will see Hollywood Hogan come down there in his big NWO t-shirt and his black NWO boots and his black NW sunglasses and bandana. And then he's going to come down to the ring and The Rock is going to hit him with a rock bottom and a people's elbow. And then he's going to take those NWO t-shirts, those NWO sunglasses, and he's going to stick them sideways and stick them right up your candy ass." Listen, Hollywood Hogan versus The Rock for the Universal Championship. Who do we got?
Well, I don't think you needed to ask me that. I wish we both weren't running our big old dudes fighting for the world title at the same time. It just dawned on me. Hogan and Flair are both going.
It just dawned on me too. And about to have fantastic heat and good wrestling, The Rock defeated Hollywood Hogan in 10:05 by pinfall and makes defense number 6.
10 minutes? Title. What are you doing?
Yeah, Hollywood Hogan can't go 10 minutes, brother.
You just gotta fucking bite the bullet. Hogan can go 10 minutes. What are you talking about?
He got winded. I asked him to go 12, and he said, I can't do it, brother.
You gotta start doing the slow build stuff.
Well, maybe there's a rematch down the line. Who knows?
Yeah, just no. That's just a word advice. Move forward to our main event, Chad.
Yeah,
that's
Rock celebrates with the crowd. No, this is our co-main event tonight. Don't adjust your television sets. That is Booker T, who has left WWE
what the hell
for
is
one
he doing
reason and
here?
one reason only.
No, there's a couple reasons.
One reason and one reason only.
There's a couple.
And let me take you back.
There's a couple reasons. There's a couple reasons.
The only one you need to worry about is this.
Is his massive drug issues? Yes.
Bobby Eaton came out and said that he was upset that Juventud basically left him hanging after Chef Psychosis left. He said, that was one of the best times of my career, watching you and Psychosis, the two future stars of this great company. And when Thunder came out, you two were the two flagships. You are Thunder originals, Hoovy, and you came up together and you've had such classic matches. And then when Chef left, I looked at you backstage and I said, you know what? It's me and you, man. You looked at me and you said, yeah, me and you. And then I never heard from you ever again. You abandoned me and left me hanging. No one cared about Bobby Eaton anymore. You're selfish. And if it's not about Hoovitude, you can't be bothered. Well, I decided to make your life a living hell. That's why I put a hit on you with a steel. I'm putting together a collective of people who want nothing more than to destroy you, Hoovitude. And my next member of the collective, somebody who's held tag team gold in WCW. Then the next week, he cut another riddle, Justin. He said, my next member of the collective has held championship gold in every main company he's worked for. And then, on the third week, as Bobby Eaton promised, he would finally reveal his collective member. Juventud came out and tried to attack Bobby. He ran at the limo with his ring bell, looking to cause a little havoc, and unfortunately, wasn't able to find out who the collective member is. He did shatter the back window, but he wasn't able to see. And Bobby Eaton, he did attack Bobby Eaton though, and Bobby Eaton ordered him, demanded that he was detained, and so he was, kicked off the show for that week. He wasn't going to be there. And so basically, Super Crazy said, "Listen, I'll fight that. I'll fight whoever it is. Then I don't care. I almost said a mother effer on this channel, Justin. Uh, but it was revealed that the collective member was Booker T, and Booker T defeated Super Crazy. And then the next night or the next week on Thunder, Booker T grabbed a microphone and he said, when I was working for WCW, when I was climbing the ranks and becoming one of the fastest rising stars in the industry, I was doing a lot of teaming with my brother. And when it was with my brother, it was with other different groups of people. I was in that scene, and when I was in that scene, I was working a lot with Psychosis and with Hoovitude. And everyone liked you backstage, but I always got a weird vibe about you, sucker. He says, I always thought that you were this egotistical little prick that only cared about himself. And only started really caring about Psychosis when Psychosis started getting popular. He said, movie, I've never really liked you, but I've always respected Bobby Eaton, who is one of the great minds of this sport, who has taught me and so many other guys that I came up here with, guys like Scott Steiner, right? Guys like Diamond Dallas Page, all right? Guys like, the list goes on. I can't even name them. Guys like your boy Chef Psychosis. This man has given so much. Just to see that after you left that he had nothing, it made me sick, but I couldn't do anything because I was at another company. And I don't regret my time there. I had a blast. All right, but I knew that I had to come here because my friend Bobby Eaton needed a favor. And that favor was to finally get rid of the pest that was Juventud Guerrera. Something that you've had coming for far too long. Who we consider this me taking out the trash. And Juventud comes down to the ring. Actually, he tries to come down to the ring, but there's a bunch of security standing in the way for Bobby Eaton's protection. And Juventud's got the ring bell, and he says, quite frankly, Booker T, I don't really give a damn about what your opinion is of me. You say I'm selfish? You're damn right I'm selfish. Everybody in this industry is selfish. All right, you have to be, and you know that. All right, but one thing you can't say about me is you can't say that I'm not loyal. All right, you can't say that I'm not loyal. Did me and Chef go to battle a few times? You're damn right. But we were brothers then, we were brothers after, and we're brothers now. Super Crazy, that's my brother. All right, Bobby, it's not that I didn't return your phone calls. It's that you wanted to turn me into something I wasn't. You wanted to try to take the success of Chef Psychosis. You wanted to put a chef hat on me and make me do the same shtick. And it's not my thing. I'm not a chef, right? I'm a top guy, right? And when you're a top guy, you have to do top guy shit. I'm gonna do that one more time. Because Booker T, you say you want to get rid of Juventud Guerrera, I say good luck. You say you want to fight me, I'd say right now, but it looks like you've got all these security guards protecting you because you're a bunch of little bitches. I'll tell you what, Superbrawl, you versus me. Listen, we got Booker T versus Juventud Guerrera. Who do you got?
Booker T. Yeah, come on now.
And in a superb match,
Come on now.
Booker T defeats Juventud with a Harlem hangover after Ace Steel ran in and attacked Juventud.
Come on now.
I mean, that was the obvious answer, right? Booker T can't lose on his debut.
I mean, Tomko did.
Well, I mean, that's fair. Booker T's a slightly different level of performer than Tomko.
That's what you think, Chad. Booker T only.
Look at that. Booker T and Bobby Eaton are a good pairing.
Yeah, but they also play different sides of the face-heel divide, so you gotta go swap that.
Turn Booker T heel. I think he's a babyface right now.
That's on you. Booker T only had a 73, which was one more point better than Ahmed last year, and now Ahmed is in the pre-show, so Booker T jobber confirmed.
But now, Justin, laughing aside, jokes aside, now we're here for our main event. as we see the hype package, the recap for the things leading up to the face-off of Rey Mysterio versus Shawn Michaels. Now, Rey Mysterio, of course, he was screwed out of his World Heavyweight Championship when Kendo Kashin attacked Rey Mysterio in their big match. And Shawn Michaels came out and
What happened to those other three masked men?
They are all still waiting in the waiting on the phone call for their Lord and Savior and hero Shawn Michaels to say he needs them. He has not yet called them, but they're still waiting.
Unreal.
But anyway, Kendo Kashin, he attacked Rey Mysterio, and Rey, he wanted a fair opportunity to get his world championship back, so he challenged Shawn Michaels to a match, and Shawn Michaels said, "Rey, what makes you think you deserve a match? I already beat you. All right, I don't need to beat you again. All right, so there's just no reason. There's nothing for me to gain here. I've already taken your championship. What else is there to take?" And Rey Mysterio, he said, "You know what? I'll tell you what's left to take. Right, if you think that this mask makes me a coward, if you think this mask makes me, not worthy of being a champion, this mask represents my family. This mask represents luchadors everywhere. This mask represents people who are told they're not good enough, who are afraid to be themselves. It gives them a hope, right? And so, you say I hide behind it. I think I proudly wear it. But you want to ask me what's left to take? That's pretty much all that's left. So, Shawn, I'll tell you what. You versus me one more time. If you beat me, I'll unmask." Everyone gasps. Shawn Michaels, he looks over at Rey Mysterio and he says, "You're on." And then Kendo Kashin, from behind, attacks Rey Mysterio. Shawn Michaels, he goes for a super kick to Rey Mysterio, kicks him right in the face, and is going to go remove the mask that he's already done once before, but this time, I think it means a little more. And as that's happening, you hear, "Stand back! There's a hurricane coming through!" And Justin, everyone's like, "Huh?" And then Shane Helms, aka the Hurricane, he comes out to the aid in true superhero form to the rescue of Rey Mysterio. And Rey Mysterio, he's looking confused but very appreciative. And then the next week, the Hurricane, he comes out, he says, "You know what? When I came here, I was so excited about the future of Shane Helms." He said, "And I had an opportunity to win the World Heavyweight Championship against Shawn Michaels. And you know what? I'll give Shawn credit where it's due. Shawn beat me. Ever since then, I haven't been able to just get myself on track. I've been losing. And listen, I know what happens when you get on a losing streak in WCW. All right, I have plenty of career ahead of me, and I knew I had to do something, and I couldn't figure out what to do. And I saw Shawn Michaels lead this army of people who betrayed what made them who they are just to be like Shawn, and it made me sick. And I saw Rey Mysterio. I saw him talk about how much that mask gives him pride, and how it makes him who he is. And I realized what was missing. I realized what made Shane Helms good. No, what made Shane Helms great. No, what made Shane Helms super. And I realized what I needed to do. The opposite of what Shawn Michaels said. I needed to put the mask on, not take it off. So I'm back. I'm back to fight alongside Rey Mysterio because Shawn Michaels, I am sick of you. I'm sick of your lies. And you better stand back because there's a hurricane coming through. And so these two men have pretty much been fighting Shawn Michaels and Kendo Kashin in the weeks leading up to this match, Justin. And the final stake was made. And Ted DiBiase said, this match, it's so hyped up, but I think it could be even bigger, And I was trying to think, what could make this match more impressive? And I realized I thought of an answer. Right? We know Rey Mysterio can wrestle. We know Shawn Michaels can wrestle. I don't don't need to see them in a one-on-one wrestling match. What we need to see Rey Mysterio, and one thing he holds, he wants more than anything in the World Heavyweight Championship, hanging down next to the one thing he can't afford to lose, his mask. Standing alongside him is Shawn Michaels, who also sees those two things hanging into balance, and we need a ladder, match, and the only way to win, Rey Mysterio needs to climb up and grab the mask and the belt, and Shawn, he needs to grab the mask and the belt, and the first one to do that will be the winner. Rey Mysterio versus Shawn Michaels, mask versus belt, a ladder match. Justin, that brings us to where we are now. Rey Mysterio, Shawn Michaels, championship versus mask in a ladder match. Who do you got?
I'm going to click next segment.
All right, well, if you picked Rey Mysterio, then you would be a correct person. And about that, sensational wrestling and fantastic heat, Rey Mysterio defeats Shawn Michaels in 2011 when Rey retrieved one of his masks and the World Heavyweight Championship. Kendo Kashin did try to run in to screw Rey, but of course, stand back, there's a hurricane coming through. The hurricane ran down to make the save, and Rey was able to get his championship back. Justin, Rey Mysterio, world champion once again, and gets to keep his mask.
You already know you don't want to hear my thoughts about that.
Justin doesn't like the hot potato of belts.
Especially the world championship of flop 3 months in a row. I just fucking absolutely despise. Do not like it, but whatever.
You know what I like to see, Justin? I like to see our world champion, Rey Mysterio, with his new buddy, the Hurricane, celebrating in the ring to send the crowd home happy as we end Superbrawl with a 96.
Well, your run
13th Superbrawl.
Your run of better pay-per-views has already come to an end, as it always does, because I have never beaten you with the Royal Rumble, and I beat you in the 11 of the last 12 months every year. So I hope you enjoy your streak, Chad, because the good guys are back on top.
I'm more happy with the quality of stories that were told today.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'll take a 90. Listen, I'll take a 96.
You'll take whatever you're gonna take whatever you get.
I mean, as will you.
No, I'll edit I'll cheat.
Cheat.